Welcome back to another episode of Sai's Eyes. So, if you've been following along the last couple episodes, and especially the last episode, you know that I've started this series of going into and describing the SaiOS, my life operating system, which I've taken and leveraged other people's ideas and molded it something into my own. So this episode, I don't know how I'm going to, where the exact lines are going to be, but the delineations of episodes, but I'm just going to continue, going through, talking about each of the sections of the overview that I gave in the last episode. So if you haven't checked that out, to get a overview sense and a high level bird's eye view perspective of everything, I recommend doing that first. This one I'll be taking a deep dive into one of the specific aspects. So, specific aspect I want to take a look at this episode is the alignment zone. And within that specifically, the aspirations. And so, I kind of built this pyramid out of, and you've heard me say these words before, but I use these intentionally, of aspirations, affirmations, and actions. I view each of these in a specific level. Aspirations being the highest level of who I want to be. The affirmations of how I'm going to get there, or the affirmations of who is kind of like the middle step. What steps can I take to get there? And then the action are actually the execution of the affirmations, which roll up to the aspirations. And so, within the aspirations section, I'm looking at my Notion right now, right? So, within my aspirations section, I have my life purpose, my mission, and something I call, values, but some which I phrased as unconditional values, because it's something that I want to be, not just something that I strive for. I don't want values to be something that I strive for. I don't want to be trying to reach values. I want to be making sure that values are the lowest common denominator of everything that I do. And so for this quarter, I updated them a little bit, but I'll just be actually going through each what I've set as a purpose, mission, and unconditional values, and then going from there. So for my life purpose, I have, this is my personal life purpose of moksha for all. If you know what moksha means, it's liberation. And so that's kind of what liberation from, the cycle of birth and death, of karma, right? Want to be liberated from this physical body through the good thoughts, words, and deeds that we can do on this earth to achieve, nirvana, realization, all these words that you have probably heard being thrown around in different religions and different philosophies, etc. So, for my purpose, I have moksha for all. I initially had just moksha, actually, for a previous quarter, but this one, I felt that it was just for myself, but what can I do to not only gain liberation for myself, but for others as well? So I wanted to have a bigger picture and bigger purpose. And then mission. So usually the purpose is something that doesn't really change much. It shouldn't, but I adjusted a little bit. For mission, this is a little bit more tactical, but still very, high level. Of previous one I did change this one quite a bit, but the current one, the previous one, it was something about creating a legacy that inspires everyone, transcending time and space. So I changed it up a little bit here for my mission now, which is inspire all beings Inspire all beings to rediscover happiness within. Inspire all beings to rediscover happiness within. Because happiness, I feel is inside all of us. When we're born, there's happiness there. It's just through external situations and circumstances, we lose it. So we just have to rediscover that happiness, that bliss, that love that's within all of us. We just have to rediscover it. We don't have to find it. It's already there. We just have to rediscover it. So that's the mission. That's my mission. And then unconditional values, I have 4 of them. The first one is character. I was reading the Mahavakya on leadership last year, and it said, leadership is majority character. There's a lot of values that roll up to it, but integrity, discipline, truth, stuff like that, I think roll up to character. So I have kind of sub bullets or a phrase that captures the essence of what I mean by each of these values. And so for character, I have intentionally being good. Sounds simple, but it can be tested at times. In every situation, am I intentionally being good? When there's tests in front of me, how am I reacting? Am I just being good as an unconscious action or reaction or response? Or am I intentional about it? If I'm intentional and aware of everything, then I can intentionally make the right decision. I can intentionally be good. So the next value I have is knowledge, with a sub bullet of growth mindset with infinite possibilities when applied effectively. Growth mindset with infinite possibilities when applied effectively. So I want to be learning from different people, learning from different places, learning about different subjects. But all that learning means nothing if it's not applied effectively, right? Taking action on that insight that we've gained through whatever source. So having that growth mindset of always being of learning and gaining knowledge, but then when you can apply them effectively, there's infinite possibilities. The third value I have is wisdom, with the subtext of I am God, I am the creator. So this is just, wisdom is more of realizing who we are fundamentally as spiritual beings, that we have the power, we have the ability to be omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. We just haven't realized it yet fully. So we're all on that path to rediscover that godliness, to rediscover that eternal bliss, eternal happiness, and infinite wisdom. And then finally, the fourth value that I have is a slogan from, by Satya Sai Baba, of love all, serve all. Now, if you're in the Sai Center, then you've obviously heard of this, but this is like the main slogan, main phrase, main essence that captures the message of his teachings, of love all, serve all. So loving everything in the universe through my energy, expressed as thoughts, words, and deeds. So that's the bullet that I have for love all, serve all. So these are my four unconditional values that I have set for myself, that under no circumstances, under no conditions will I break these values. I will always have good character. I will intentionally be good all the time. I will always be seeking to learn knowledge, but applying it effectively. To constantly be aware of the truth that I am the creator. And that my energy expresses thoughts, words, and deeds are expressed as love and in action as service. So those are my four unconditional values that I have. And so a couple more things I'll go through in this episode, in addition to those purpose, mission, and values, are the vision board. So this one I don't need to necessarily go into full detail, but this vision board I have, essentially I created at the beginning of the year to picture, to visualize, it's a vision of who I want to be at the end of the year. So I have all my different affirmations I have basically just photoshopped myself on different pictures and put them together, designed it real quick. Design is a strong word there. I copied and pasted pictures of my face onto people doing different activities to remind myself that I do want to learn these languages. I want to learn this instrument, that I want to be constantly reflecting and thinking, that I want to be physically fit and mentally disciplined, right? So that's what the purpose of the vision board is. And then also under aspirations are the purpose by time period. So which are basically captures in one brief word or phrase succinctly what my purpose is for that time period. So I've used the phrases of, and you've heard this in the last couple episodes of, so my yearly story is alignment and betterment. So that's my actual 2021 story. Everything that I do is with the purpose this year, specifically and intentionally, of aligning and bettering myself. And so I had, so that was the 2021 story that I phrased as. Then this Q2 ambition that I have. So ambition is the quarterly breakdown, and word that I use is to enhance content and set foundation for the long term. So that's my ambition for this quarter. I want to increase and improve and enhance the content that I'm producing. So hopefully this podcast is one of the main way that I'm doing that. Then I also want to set the foundation for the long term with doing pieces of projects, the beginning steps of projects that are multi-year projects, but I'm taking the first steps. So I want to set the foundation for the long term this quarter. And then my April theme. So theme is my monthly word that I use for March theme, the April theme, the May theme. So April, this month, well, I guess whenever this releases, a couple of weeks, I guess, we'll be in the middle of, but it's arbitrage in steady state. So this is a side thing, but I want to get things up and running with the side hustle that I was doing on and off, but I just have a bunch of things, which is going to garage sales and flipping different items. So I think I've created a profit already, but I just haven't posted anything in a few months, almost a year actually. So I have all these things in my closet that I want to post on eBay, post on whatever site, and just sell. We'll see if the actual time investment is worth it to continue going to these garage sales and buying these things, but I want to at least sell the stuff that I already have. So I want to, take the pictures. I built out a project plan for that to hopefully have everything in a steady state, so I don't have to keep worrying about have that loom over my head. And then after the themes for months, I have weekly focus. So this week's focus is just don't have it pulled up right now, but it's just getting everything ready for that, for that arbitrage project, as well as getting into the mode of executing and setting the foundation for the different projects that I mentioned. So don't want to overload myself, and don't be overbearing with what I've set for myself this week, the first week of the quarter. And then daily I have priorities that I section out and differentiate of the tasks. And so stuff will be first, second, third, fourth priority, or if it's a scheduled time, or if it's a recurring task that I need to be doing on a weekly, monthly basis, I'll be tracking those there as well. So daily priorities, weekly focus, monthly themes, quarterly ambitions, and yearly stories. So those are my purpose by time period. So I think that's a good stopping point for now. We haven't fully covered aspirations yet, actually. So next episode, we'll be taking a deep dive into the review cycles within the aspirations section of the alignment zone of my SaiOS life operating system. So like I said, that is a very, very granular look, but I think it'll help set the stage for how I'm approaching my life and how I'm organizing my life right now. So hopefully you guys stick with it through however many episodes this series is of this SaiOS series. But thanks for listening so far. Hopefully you continue to listen to Sai's Eyes. I'll see ya when I see ya.